Okay, we are live. Everybody, I want you to welcome the very powerful Logan Baert to the Working Title podcast. Logan,
Oh wow.
welcome on, man.
The studio audience here is incredible.
Yeah, we pay them in Trident layers.
I wonder if they could repeat that exact sound.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead, guys. There it
Oh
is.
wow, the same exact level of enthusiasm. What
Yeah,
an audience.
you know
Bringing that every time.
they can laugh too. Go ahead, guys.
Great laughers too. Wow. Yeah. Thank you for having me on, Zach.
Yes.
I really appreciate it, man.
Welcome to the pod. For the listeners, this is my very wonderful friend Logan Baert, who's a stand-up comedian in Los Angeles. Welcome to the pod. Today is a very special day. If you are a baseball fan, today is opening day of the Major League Baseball season. Go Yankees! Are you a baseball guy?
I am not a
No.
baseball guy.
Well, go Yankees for everybody listening back home. And we are very lucky to have Logan here today with us. So let's just get right into it. Logan Baert. There's another.
I thought you were gonna go into the Yankee schedule. I'm like, all right, let's talk about it.
This is actually
Aaron
just
Judge,
be...
is that a guy? He's pretty good.
This is gonna be a
This is a
Yankees
sports podcast? Yeah. I'm in, dude.
today. So, we got a little feedback there. We were for the listeners, we were having some technical difficulties before that with some feedback. I'm hoping that isn't happening right now. Okay, I think we should be good. We should be good. So where are you from, man?
The problem was we moved. Oh, hey, we're good. Dude, I am originally from Indiana,
Indiana.
which is surprising to some folks. Knox, Indiana, small town of about 3,500 people.
Wow.
The way I describe it to folks is, you remember Y2K?
I mean, I was like 5.
You were like 5. We got that in 2009. So like that's where I'm just from, like a small town. It just everything hits you late. You know what I mean? That's how it works.
That's funny.
Yeah. So I mean, we got the internet now. Yeah. Okay, man. Not.
I'm just gonna
Not
kill
the
you.
canned laughter. Don't even do the canned laughter. I'm
Like,
not riffing bits, but
this is
I feel like
friends.
that's just a good way to go. Like, hey, because in Los Angeles, folks, they don't understand, and vice versa. By the way, I moved to Los Angeles. I never even been here before. I never visited. I just put all my stuff in a Chevy Cobalt and drove here, and was like, all right. I mean, I'd been doing comedy and won competitions in Indiana, and was like, okay, I need to figure something out, but. Yeah, didn't know. And then you come here and I'm like, oh, that's a Porsche. And they're like, it's a Porsche. I'm like, oh.
Dude, my hometown has like 6,000 people in it.
Really?
Like there's
Where are you from?
I'm from Oneonta, New York, which is a very small college town. There's 2 colleges in it. So when the colleges are in session, there's like 15,000 people
Yeah.
but when they're out, there's really like
Yeah,
5,000.
it's like
It's
bacon.
very small, very
Mhm.
small. And same thing, I just packed my car and drove out here too.
Dude, I love that, man.
Yeah.
Didn't even try New York City at all or anything like that?
Honestly, no. My dad is from New York City, and
Yeah.
his family, his brother and my cousin and my aunt are in Bronxville. They grew up in the Bronx, but no, I always wanted to come out here.
Dude.
Like I always my even though I'm from New York, like my first love, I guess, or my first goal was L.A., Hollywood, Hollywood.
Oh,
Hollywood,
yeah. Which, I mean, any regrets?
No, not at all.
No, none. Just come out here and go, this is exactly what I thought it was. I
Well-
mean, dude, it's better. One thing was, in comedy is you get to a certain point, and the thing is New York or LA.
Yeah.
That's like the move.
Yeah.
Chicago is a great scene too. I came up in Indianapolis. But I was like, you know what? No more winters, dude. I can't do
Same.
winter anymore.
Yeah.
I gotta get to the
Forget
sunshine.
that.
Yeah.
I
And
need-
I'm
yeah.
I'm a pasty, dude. White, Czechoslovakian, German, Belgian, some type of mix. Transparent, I think they call it.
From Transylvania.
Oh yeah, something. But I mean, the sun tries to kill me every single day, but I just, you know what?
You're
I
a
just-
survivor.
Every day I wake up, I just go after it. But it's awesome here. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah, no, I like LA a lot too. So, you grew up doing? Did you said you were doing competitions and stuff in?
In Indianapolis,
okay.
like origin story, comedy for me. I mean, Jim Carrey's my dad, basically. He grew up on The Mask on VHS and stuff. But actually, what's funny is I don't know if you remember this, and I would like to hear this story. My first uncontrollable belly laugh, or that laugh that like it almost like turned me online. Like it's one of my earliest memories. We used to have, dude, I grew up in dirt, but a military brat. Actually born in Berlin, Germany. Funny
Really?
story, but yeah, I grew up in Knox, Indiana. Maybe we can talk about that a little later. But we used to have these like 3 or 4 hour long VHS tapes. My mom had recorded Looney Tunes cartoons.
Mm.
Like we had like 4 or 5 of them, 3 hours long, and we had this one that was like 3 hours of Bugs Bunny. And I mean, this was before kindergarten. I would say 3 or 4 years old.
Wow.
Um, and you know Bugs Bunny, he's always
Sure.
"What's up, Doc?"
Yeah.
That's like his move. You watch this, and this knight on a horse comes out, and he like rides up on Bugs, and he points a lance at him, and like the tip is like on Bugs Bunny, and he leans up against the lance, puts his finger on like the point, and he pulls out his carrot, bites it, and he goes, "What's up, Duke?" And like,
It just killed you.
dude, it blew my mind because I'm like, "Oh, Duke," because he's a knight.
Yeah.
And like he usually says Doc, but he said dude, like, but my brain, like adolescent brain, was like, it was like a joke went in there. Oh my
You're
god,
like,
dude,
this
I
is what-
fell out.
This is what comedy is.
I remember thinking like I laughed so hard to where I was like, oh, I have to stop laughing, or I'm like, it's an emergency.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever gotten to a belly laugh like that where you're like,
Oh, yeah.
guys, stop, because like I'm
I'm not
dying.
well right
Yeah.
now.
Oh my god. And like, I don't know, that just really. And then, I what's so funny about being funny, like especially young. Now I intentionally try to be funny, which sucks. I always tell people, I used to be really funny until I started doing stand up comedy. Like that's when you really, it's hard to maintain being yourself and just like in the moment when you're like objectively trying to be funny. But like I remember, man, for first grade, I had this little girl, Lisa Zielinski, sat next to me. Oh, probably shouldn't drop her name.
Name drop. Hello.
Hey, can I get an applause break for Lisa Zielinski over here? What are we doing? But I in first grade, I made her laugh all the time. And I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, what was I saying? Because I used to, like, the teacher would be like, Logan, stop. Because she would just be laughing next to me all the time. I'm like, dude, whoever that kid was, his influences had to just be Jim Carrey and Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
Like,
well, two strong influences.
Dude was killing it.
Yeah.
And I remember coming up in like middle school, and people would say, Logan, you should be a comedian. And trust me, that's every comics ever story and whatever. But I never even thought any of that was possible. I thought Hollywood, you see it on TV. I didn't even think it was like real. You know what I mean?
Dude.
I didn't think like making it was like a thing.
I know exactly what you mean.
Oh my gosh. And I remember my 7th grade like math teacher, she gave awards at the end of the year, and she gave me most comical student. And I was like, it was like, what a weird wording too, comical. Like it's not funniest or whatever, but like I must have been performing. I don't know what I was doing, but I used to have my buddy Chad like pass a blank piece of paper, fold it up like it was a note. I'm like, all right, pass this over here, but like give it to me when she's looking, so she can see us. So like see me get it, and he'd like, all right. So he'd, like she'd be looking, he'd be like, hey Logan, and then she'd be like, okay, while you're passing out, get up, read it out loud. So I'd be like, all right. So that
little did she know she's falling right into.
Yeah. Once I saw her make somebody read a note out loud, I was like, oh, we got to do that. So then I just would go up with a blank piece of paper, and then I would just make up all these backstories.
Wow.
Like, hey, Tasha, it's Chad. Thanks for coming over last night. Thanks for borrowing me that $30. Oh my God, I can't believe we bought. I would just like make up a story. I don't even remember any of them. But yeah, and I'm like, dang, I don't know what was making me want to be funny. I don't think there was any ego involved early on, but I remember like when something would happen in class and I could say something funny, I would get like a adrenaline rush. I'd get sweaty. I'd be like, dude, I gotta say this.
Yeah, there's nothing like getting a laugh.
Oh my God, it's like the best thing.
On stage, getting a big old laugh.
Oh gosh,
is like a drug. It's like
a drug. Absolutely. Like
it's a bit different in the acting world. Like, but it's the same in the when you nail something and you get good rise out of the audience, you're like, oh my god, I want to live in this moment forever.
Like live acting?
Yeah, yeah.
Dude,
Like
I've
if you're
never
on
gone
stage,
to like a legit play.
like
Out
theater.
here anyway.
Oh,
Nah,
okay,
I'd
come
like to like
come to Stella sometime,
dude,
dude.
I'll come to your next show.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
love live theater. But you like when you were growing up, you were always, you know, class funny guy.
I don't know, a little bit. Dude, I think and I'll say this now, I'm not the funniest guy I know. My buddy Gomer is the funniest kid I know. He's the funniest guy I know. And me and him were in class. We have there's this joke. Uh, we don't know what it was, but it was one of the jokes that like instilled our friendship. I had like a trapper keeper. It had all these like mechanisms on it. And I open it up. He's like sat next to me the first time, like maybe seventh grade. It was a good year. And I like open up, and we cannot remember what it was, but I said something, and we got into one of those like fits of laughter. And like, I'll be like, just like, dude. Sometimes we'll just be like, dude, that trapper keeper joke. I don't know what I said, but I wish we could like know. Yeah. But no, yeah. I was a class clown, but like, I was one of them, and I know so many people who are probably driving a truck right now.
Yeah,
who are I'm like, dude, the funniest people in the world.
Yeah.
But I did always have this thing where I like wanted to shoot videos and make little sketches. Like this is like Jackass era. Was CKY actually? I don't know. You were only 5 during. When were you born?
1995.
95. Okay, so obviously do some math, Logan. God.
Jackass,
public school. Sorry.
Jackass was a big influence.
Yeah, it was big. So CKY was before Jackass. People don't know about it, but Bam Margera made CKY. It's called Camp Kill Yourself.
Okay.
And they would do all this crazy stuff. And he had Johnny in a couple of things. He knew the Jermaine guy. A lot of people don't realize that Bam Margera is actually a G. If I'd go off on Bam Margera was the first Kardashian. Everybody forgot, but he made reality TV. Like gets no credit for like Viva La Bam, all that stuff.
Doesn't get the flowers he deserves.
Does not get it. He's just now that he's just unfortunately, drugs and alcohol kind of got him. But like, dude, he was definitely a pioneer. But yeah, I would like my brother said that to me. He's like, yeah, you always wanted to like we'd be like playing and you would want to direct and kind of like orient it and make it like, all right, you go over it here and like make it. I'm like, dang, I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
But I think when you watch a lot of movies, you sort of perceive life in a movie shape. And I think actually our generation in general, and this isn't like a slight, I think in the generation before, Gen X too, I don't know if you get this, most people I've talked to, like you kind of live your life like you're in a show, like there's a kind of a camera on you.
Yes.
Like we really do kind of exist like that. And like some of my favorite jokes are jokes that I'm just watching that movie and I know I'm watching and they're just for me. Like so many things just in public, like a face I'll make and I'm like, I don't care. If somebody sees me doing this, they're gonna be like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly
I love
what you
those
mean.
things.
There's a few things that you have just said that I relate with so much. Like, it sounds like, so when you were saying, when you were growing up in this smaller area, it kind of didn't seem almost feasible to make it. It's the same where I'm from. I think that's the small town thing in general because it's like, you have this thing always in the back of your head, but you're like, well, realistically, I'm going to become like a teacher, a cop, a firefighter. Or
or go to the army.
Yeah, like pretty much. That's like it's in small towns. That's kind of like, and then you're like, nah, an actor or like a comedian. Like people don't. People don't do that where I'm from. Really,
I was rebellious too. Like I remember I was like in a program where we went to the guidance counselor and they would like tell us like. You'd go through this thing and they'd show you jobs and careers and where you could go to school for them and how much they make. And I'm like, all right, so I'm picking my career based on this number next to it. And they're like, I mean, you want to have a good life, right? And I'm like, isn't this like a little early to decide what I want to do for my whole life?
I'm 12.
Dude, I was like, what are we talking about here? What do you know? And then I was kind of rude because she was a very sweet lady. I go, did you want to be a guidance counselor? And she just was like, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what I want to be.
Right. When
can I cuss?
Yeah, oh yeah. Fuck. Shit.
Fuck. I just wanted to get one in. Fuck.
Yeah, no, this is all no rules.
I try not to cuss, but yeah.
I've tried to cut it back in later in my life. I always used to pick on my dad, who is very he doesn't cuss very often, and I always used to think it was such like a old man thing, like different generation. But it's funny, as I get older, I try to clean up my language more so than I used to. When did you fully commit to making the jump? It's like, okay, I'm gonna be a stand-up comedian.
Oh man.
Oh, don't want that. Oh, hang on, guys. Here, hold on. Sorry.
You can edit this in post.
Don't want that to start again. Okay.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Okay.
don't move.
Yeah,
man.
I just can't move a muscle.
Stop moving. You know, I honestly didn't know how to even begin, but you know, there is like, um, I think God's real. In retrospect, for sure, I think this was one of the actions. But I didn't know what to do. I started writing comedy. I started writing jokes and ideas maybe when I was a senior in high school. Dane Cook Vicious Circle was like huge when I was in high school. I'd watch stand up all the time. I'd watch like we illegally downloaded on Kazaa. I don't know if anybody remembers. You don't.
I don't.
LimeWire.
Yeah.
That was like the next.
Yeah.
That was after Kazaa. LimeWire with like old Carlin bits, Richard Pryor
Nice.
bits. But I always liked stand up. Friend across the street from me. We grew up poor. We didn't have it, but he had HBO, and we'd watch stand up late at night. And dude, I don't know. I just really did like stand up, and I do remember writing it in fourth grade because I saw Jim Carrey do this joke about Saint Bernard, and he spits water all over the place. And I wrote I want to be a comedian, and I just love Jim Carrey.
Same, dude. Jim
God.
Carrey's the best.
Yeah,
The best.
but I started writing jokes. Maybe.
Hey, now what is going on? Sorry for our listeners. We're getting some feedback with the mics. I'm sorry. Hang on. Bear with me here.
You're
Yeah.
kind of figuring out that trick, though. You're getting it pretty good.
Sorry for the listeners. We're just having some technical difficulties, but we're working through it today.
We're working.
What is that now? Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
crisp, clear, clean.
Okay.
I
We're
feel
back.
good. I feel good about this. Zach, you've got to stop moving. So I started writing comedy just in an old crappy notebook that I still actually have, and I've opened it up, and it's embarrassing. 18, 19 years old, but I just kind of would tell people I wanted to do comedy. There wasn't really a way to do it.
Yeah.
I started, going to parties after, so 18, 19, nothing happening, living in a farm town, 20, 21. I mean, it went for a while. I didn't actually perform comedy for my first time till I was about 23 or 24, and I'd always been talking about it. And what was funny is I was dating a girl at the time, and she worked in healthcare, and she took care of disabled folks. And there was this comic. There was one of her clients did comedy, and a certain night of the week she would have to take him to this. It's called the Dewdrop in South Bend, Indiana. Go Irish. And she's like, yeah, I take him. He does that. Maybe you could try it because I'd been talking about it. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So that was in my head. I was like, oh, there's an out. I can go do it somewhere. I was like, wow, okay. And I just by myself one day. I'm like, I have to go. I just set the day. I remember I worked in a factory, a clutch plate steel stamping factory, getting hydraulic fluid blown all over me.
Nice.
I've always done the dumbest
Sounds
jobs.
super safe.
Oh God, I probably. I've always done the dumbest things, like the most manual, because I'm just like we have to make money, and then what happens anyway? And so I didn't tell anyone, didn't tell her, and I signed up, and then I Snapchatted her just a picture of the microphone, and I'm like, and she's like, oh my God, what, you're doing it? I'm like, I have to try, and I actually did 5 minutes. I actually did good, But in retrospect, I know it was because I was saying things that a first time, because I was like, "This is my first time." I was saying things that like a comic who's doing this for his first time is like kind of doing an impersonation of what he thinks stand up is, along with like saying thing that's like, "Yo, you're just kind of saying some outrageous stuff." That's like I didn't have the charisma to be delivering it, but it was like it was funny because I was confidently, ignorantly saying it. They were a little laughing at me, but also they were laughing like, "Dude, he's kind of getting away with this."
Yeah.
And it went well, and I was like, "Oh my god, like okay, cool." And then I was like, "Okay." And then 2 weeks later, I signed up again, and my
Yes. Back. Yes. No. Yeah. There you go.
yeah. And then 2 weeks later, I signed up again, and I went back, and I had my girlfriend come with me, and I bombed so hard in front of her. And I was like, it rattled me. But then, so then she wanted to move to Indianapolis to like go to school. She was going to like Purdue, one of the Purdue sites, but not the one in Lafayette. She started in West Lafayette, like the real Purdue. So she was transferring there. I'm like, all right, let's move to Indy. I'm like, I want to start. I'm like, there's got to be. I looked up the comedy club, Crackers Comedy Club, and then we moved there. First time ever being in a big town. For like, there were so many things I had to grow and learn, and just being around people, like it was a big shock, but I just went for it. She broke up with me within like 6 months of moving there. 2 bedroom, moved out. I'm like, oh shit, I have to pay rent on a 2 bedroom. That's like, all right.
Which I'm sure was cheaper than a studio here.
$600, my guy.
That's unbelievable.
Oh my god. No, it was 800.
That's unbelievable.
It was crazy. Then I ended up moving to a studio. No, a 1 bedroom. My rent was $535.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I miss it. But when she left, like, I remember on one of the last days we were walking. I hadn't started doing comedy yet. The first job I could get, I was like working second shift in a warehouse, just to, like, pay the bills. And we were walking by Crackers Comedy Club. I'm like, I'm gonna perform there one day. And she's like, just do it already. You talk about it, just do it. And I was like, wow, I do talk about a lot, but I haven't done it. And yeah, so when she
wait, give me a second. I gotta. Okay, go ahead. Sorry for all the listeners. It's my technical difficulties here.
That's
for all the millions of listeners here are gonna be really, really, really pissed at me.
The good news is heartbreak. Like, it was like, I was like, okay. I have to do what I came to do. Like, this is, and then I started doing it, and it's just painful. Open mics at bars, open mics here, and then Crackers Comedy Club, you do 3 minutes, you got to get 5 people to come. They let you do, 2 minutes your first time. Then if you do good, they'll let you come back. Can't say fuck. Come back, do 3 minutes. And then I just worked my way up there. I did 2 minutes, did good. Did 3 minutes, did good. Started coming back. Once you do 3 minutes a couple times, you can sign up for the alternate list, which means like you don't got to bring people. You just show up every Tuesday. You sign up, and then if you get on, you do start doing 6 minutes.
Okay.
And I had to start doing that, and we would get randomly picked like once every 6 weeks, 8 weeks, but I was there every week. And as I was doing good, and the veteran comics saw me, they started going like, you see my name on there, put me up. So then I got approached. Hey, do you want to host? We were thinking about letting you start hosting. So then I hosted the open mic.
Nice.
Which is like a big step in the scene.
Yeah. And
as I worked, and then eventually, which I'm so grateful. I was so grateful for then, but I'm even more grateful now with how hard it is to get stage time in LA. Every time I went to the open mic, they would put me on. So then I was getting every Tuesday. And then there was another comedy club, Morty's Comedy Club, which same situation. I would go there. It was Wednesdays. Worked my way up. So then eventually I was hosting at both clubs the weekend shows, doing 5 15-minute sets in front of the national headliners, Chris Porter, David Tell, I can't remember, Guy Torrey I hosted, Floor Lunel, just all the headliners, some people that folks wouldn't, they're not like the top 10, Netflix special guys, but these are very good comedians. Brian Posehn. And I started hosting for them. you learn so much when they're in town. I would drive them around. I'd have to take them to radio in the morning. It was part of like working for Crackers, which I learned a lot. First thing you have to do is learn how to host. I remember hosting. When you're hosting a show, it's different than just your bit.
Yeah.
You know, one-liner comics and things like that. The guys that are set up, punch, like those guys are good. Okay, he writes a good joke. He gets laughs, but like, can he host a show? Can he keep the energy going? Can you blah? Hey, all right,
That's
let's
a whole
get
other
blah, blah.
bag.
That
Yeah.
and there's a thing in comedy. You have to learn to before you can kill. You have to learn how to host. So I remember like.
There we go. Maybe give us a second here, folks. Okay.
I remember taking it like serious, like, oh, I need to learn how to host, because the first time I hosted at Crackers, the owner, her office is behind the stage. She's like pretty strict lady. Ruth Ann, shout out Ruth Ann, although
shout out Ruth Ann.
She's done a bunch of she's got some bad stuff actually against her, but
maybe not.
Hey, sorry, Ruth Ann. But dude, she called me in her office. I got done with my hosting set, introduced the first comic, and she was at the bottom of the stairs. She goes, "Come here." Pulls me in the office. She goes, "What the fuck was that? You're flat. You got no energy. What are you doing? You need to be the face of the club right now." Just like ripped me to pieces. And I don't know like anything. I don't know anything at the time. So like she's got to me, and I'm like. So I went out there, all right, give it up. Like, but you slowly like learn. You do your little riffs in between. If somebody bombs, you come in with a little joke about them, get the crowd back. All right, we're cool. Next comic up, and you learn to keep the flow of the show.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was it. And then there's a competition in town where it's called the Great Indiana Open Mic Off, and I signed up for it. And my first year, I lost in it, but my second year, I was taking it serious. I was hosting at the clubs, and you could bring people, and you can have them. They vote. The audience votes on their top two comics. You have to vote for two people, or your ballot doesn't count.
Okay. And
so you vote for the two that you thought was funniest, and then they would move on. So people would bring all their people, and they would have them vote for them. And so they would move on, whether they were on merit or not, but you brought enough people. So I was like, you know what? I want to win this whole thing this year. I'm not going to bring anybody to any show. The qualifying show, then you do a semifinal, and then you get to the finals at the end of the year. So it's like every 3 months is a different quarterfinal. You have to qualify in that 3 months, then win that 3 months to go on to the year. So my qualifier, I didn't bring anybody. Got enough laughs to move on to the quarterfinal. Quarterfinal, didn't bring anybody, because they have to vote for the second vote. So whoever you think is the funniest usually gets that second vote. And I was like, I'm not a real comedian unless I can win this without bringing anybody. I need to just win on the merit of being funny.
Yeah.
And dude, it was awesome.
That's
when I got to the end, like, and made it and won it on. I'm like, I didn't bring anybody all year.
That is awesome.
Oh, dude, I was so happy.
Yeah.
Because the year before, I'd actually won my semifinal without bringing anybody, and I got first place. I even beat the people that brought the most because I had. Dude, it just kind of there are little steps along the journey that validate you enough to go, okay, I'm not delusional. Because you need a certain amount of delusion to even begin.
Definitely, you know? Everyone does.
Oh, I'm a big Mike Tyson fan.
Hey, we're good. Maybe. Yeah.
Are we good? Yeah, I'm a big Mike Tyson fan. The new Buddha Mike Tyson. He's like, yeah.
Yes.
But he's like, everything's a delusion until you make it a reality.
No,
like,
it's
you
true.
Gotta be delusional until you make it a real.
It is true. And a good, like a healthy dose of delusion can get you pretty far.
Oh,
because
yeah.
What we were talking about before we started here was it's kind of like, when you make yourself something, it's just it's up to you to do it. Like and that sounds so simple, but it's just like, okay, do it. And then you do it again, and then you do it again, and then all of a sudden people are like, oh, that guy's a comedian. Oh, that guy's an actor. Oh, that girl has a podcast. Like, oh, it's you say it and do it, and then all of a sudden people are like, oh yeah, that guy's an actor. Oh yeah, that guy's like it sounds simple, but
The pain along the way, the unspoken pain, the bombs that I've
The
had,
bombs,
I've been
yeah,
played off stage. I
yeah.
like,
Talk about the bombs because I feel like people don't really realize how much um how much bad there is
oh,
to
there's
get
so
to
much
being good.
bad to get to being good. Like, and sometimes it's such a it's the simplest thing. Uh,
You're good.
yeah, people. It could be your tone. It could. You could sometimes bomb because you came up on stage a little too hot, started talking too quick.
Mm,
You gotta sometimes you gotta let the room sit. Sometimes you're just not having a good day, and your energy's off, and you come up and you the same shit you've been saying, and then it works. The tone's all wrong. All these things. Sometimes you just they don't like you.
yeah.
I 100% will always put the blame on the comedian. I'm never like, oh, it's a bad crowd. I'm like,
Mm,
I don't care how bad it is. I want to be able to get them. So
yeah.
if I fail, that's on me.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, like I would say it was every other one for a while. It's and just not just bombing.
Yeah.
Just straight up like
Bombs.
this is not working. And most of it's like I used to tell us the young comedians all the time. First 100 first 100 times, just get the mic out of the mic stand. That's your only goal.
Yeah.
Like just first 100 times don't count. Get the mic out of the mic stand, move the mic stand for God's sake.
Yeah.
Unless you're a mic in the mic stand guy and you're standing there doing your stuff, whatever. But I'm like, it's all about getting comfortable up there.
Totally.
And you only get to practice in 3 to 6 minute stints at a time. I
Right.
remember when I first did 10 minutes.
You were good.
I remember when I first did 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I did first time I did 15 minutes and I got paid $50. Oh my god! Yeah. And I like did pretty good in like a bar in a town in the middle of nowhere, and like they're just it's comedy night, and the locals came in. There was 30 people in this freaking dive bar, pool going on in the next room. Could hear the clacking of balls and everything, but you like if you could get them, they would be quiet for a minute.
The great American bar scene.
Oh yeah, dude, cigarette smoke. That dang cigarette smoke. But yeah, it's mostly bombing, dude.
It's a lot of bombs.
I got played off stage one time, just like they just started playing me on, and I was supposed to be like good, like the dude was pumped to have me on the show.
Yeah.
And it was in downtown Indianapolis. A couple people had like literally Colts gear on. I used to have this really good joke about kind of.
We're back.
I kind of had this joke that used to it was talk a little shit about Peyton Manning, and I opened with
in
it.
Indianapolis.
Yeah, I opened with it and just boom, and then I was like, oh shit. So then I went to my banger, my one that it doesn't miss. Like this joke, I used to like literally be like, it won me a lot of those competitions.
Yeah.
It's like a 3-minute bit, and I would go into that. Nothing. They just decided like,
and that was
fuck
your strongest
this guy.
Yeah.
And then in the middle of that bit, the DJ just turns the music on.
Oh.
And I was like, and I just gave him the mic and was like, oh my god. I just walked straight out to my car and just sat. I drove another comic who was on the show, so I had to wait for his set. And I just sat there like, I have to quit.
Yeah.
Like I can't do this. Like that was not like that's as good as I'm dude.
That's tough.
Brutal, man.
So you know it's funny. There's a lot of I've never done stand up comedy, but I think there's a lot of parallels in all of the arts. Like, and it's the same in acting. At first, you gotta prepare to suck. You just do. Like you're gonna be terrible at first. Like you just gotta rep it out and get better and better and better. And I have to tell you this story. It's a bomb story.
Oh, nice.
And if anybody, friends or family, are listening, I apologize because you've probably heard the story 1,000 times. But it was last year, and I was auditioning to play the role of a stand-up comedian in a TV pilot that was being shot out here.
Oh, really?
Yes, last year. I got this audition, and so they emailed me and they're like, here's where you show up. This is what you tell security at the front desk. This is blah blah blah, all that stuff. Come half an hour early and we'll give you the sides, like the words. And I was like, wow, half an hour early? Like usually with auditions, they'll give you the words couple at least a couple days, usually a week before, so you can.
Did they want you to buy?
Well, they're yeah, they're like, come half an hour early, we'll get you all set up, and I was like, okay, okay, like I'm not, I don't know how confident I am in my ability to memorize something in half an hour.
Yeah.
Let alone, anyway, but I was like, all right, let's do it. So I get there, and of course, like everything else, after I find parking and all that stuff, the LA grind, I'm like about 35 minutes early. I wish I was an hour early because at the front desk, the security won't let me in. They were like, there's a Zach Chung on the list, but we don't see a Zach King. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like showing him my phone. I'm like, this is my invitation to audition. Like, this is my blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, sorry, we don't see your name on the list. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you. And so eventually, and this is eating up time. Like, this is, I'm watching the clock. And finally, about 20 minutes later, this producer runs down. It's this woman. She's like, I'm so sorry. We fucked up. Like, our bad. I put your name down wrong. I'm so sorry. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And they bring me up. And at this point, it's like 5 minutes till the audition. And they call me into the room. They're like, what is your name? What are you auditioning for? I was like, my name is Zachary Scott King. I'm auditioning to play the role of this stand-up comedian. But I have to tell you guys, I haven't seen the words. Like, there was a mix-up at the front. I should have been earlier. I'm sorry. Like, I haven't seen the words yet. And they go, you know what? Don't worry about it. No words. Treat this like it's a comedy club. Like, give us your best 10 or give us your best 5.
God.
And I was like, my voice cracked. I was like, oh, okay. Literally, my voice literally cracked.
And
like
you've never even done stand up?
No, I've never done stand up. I've never.
What's funny is there's at least 5 people that were there that have done stand up or were currently doing stand up. They're like, oh yeah.
I was under the impression that I'm coming in and I'm reading a script. That's all I've ever done. Is like for an audition, I was under the impression I'm reading the words, and I was like, okay, and when your like blood pressure rises and you can hear like that ringing in your ears.
Oh my gosh.
There's a camera right on me. There's a camera diagonal to me, and there's 2 casting directors sitting on the table watching. And I tried to come up with something on the spot about like just like living in Los Angeles and being an actor, and dude, crickets. I have such it's such a different art form, to have a stand-up act that I don't have. Like, I didn't. And it was radio silence. It was not only silence, but not even a smile on the 2 directors' faces. And I walked out of there and I was like, thanks, guys.
Did you do the full 10 minutes?
No, dude. I mean, I don't know how long I went. I had like a couple dad jokes I had in my back pocket, and then I, like I said, I tried to do this story about.
Did you take the mic out of the mic stand?
Living. Nope. There was no mic. It was just me on camera. And
how we doing, folks?
And it was an absolute bomb and a half. And the same thing. I was like, I called my buddy back in my hometown, and I was like, dude, this is, what am I doing? Like, auditions in general can be very just make you feel like dirt, but
I bet.
this one I was like, oh my god.
Golly. But you do learn to like just take it right on the chin.
Yeah, you just
and
take
even
it
in the
on
moment.
to the next.
Yeah,
on to the next. That was a terrible audition.
Next line. Yeah.
And it's actually, I mean, it was really actually a funny experience, and it gives me even more of I love stand-up comedy and I love comedians. I've never done it, and I have
Stay here for 5 more years. You'll be a comic.
I have such an appreciation for a solid set, and that was a real bomb. That was a real
God,
bomb.
dude, I feel it. I feel
I was
it.
like, wait, what?
Dude, so brutal.
Brutal. And then
Brutal.
but then, in the acting world, you say there's really no such thing to make yourself feel better, but it is kind of true that there's really no such thing as a bad audition if you, because you grow from it, and
Oh, you can
auditioning is a
learn.
skill. So it's like anything else, the more you do it, the better you get at it, and you do learn more from the bads than you do from the goods. So at the end of the day, it's like, okay, that was a shitty audition. Well, I'm never gonna see these people again anyway. So like,
Yeah, move
that's
on.
might not always be the case, but it's like you just move on.
Short memory.
Yeah, sure, exactly. Short memory and move on. I'm sure in the comedy world, do you have something similar? You just gotta
Basically
have
exactly
amnesia.
that. Yeah. There's a big part of finding your voice, I feel, but um, yeah, dude, you better have amnesia, but you better be recording your sets and listening to them,
Mm.
and listen to them, and listen to the bad ones, and it's like reliving it. It's honestly worse than when you were there, because then you're like listening. But my roommate said something good. He's a comic too, because sometimes you get lazy and you don't listen to your sets. He's like, dude, I listen to the bad sets because when you hear yourself say something that just doesn't work and it's so bad that you're like it affects your DNA to where you're like, oh, I'll never say that again. Like it changes you physiologically where you're like, oh, it will make you learn
Mold
through
you.
the pain.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, I listened to an old set. I was on the stair stepper this morning. Like I'm trying to get ready. I'm gonna be in Plano, Texas, April 2nd. Is that Wednesday?
Yeah, that's coming right up here.
Yeah.
Hang tight, folks. Hang tight. Okay.
Plano, Texas.
Hey, hang tight here for a second. Good.
But yeah. So I'm just like trying to sharpen up the feature set. I'll be doing 25 minutes, and it's like
Nice.
just trying to be
Plano, Texas.
fresh. Yeah.
April 2nd. What's do you know
the mic drop, baby?
The mic drop. Plano, Texas, guys. Go check
with
it out.
Ben Polizzi.
Nice.
Yeah. What we got going on here?
And so that's. Oh, sorry. I don't know why this is giving me so much feedback. Hang tight, folks. Sorry, listeners. Just bear with me. Okay. So you're playing in Texas in the second. That's great, man.
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been getting out on the road a little bit with him. I'll be doing Vegas. I did the Brea Improv, which was like a really big one for me because coming up as a comic, listening to all the comedian podcasts, I'd always be at the end of do their show day. So like, I'll be at Brea Improv, and I just always heard Brea Improv. So then when I did it, I was like, oh, it's so exciting. But yeah, I'm like pretty proud of my my stand-up game right now and like stuff like that. But dude, the grind of like of working and getting any momentum and notoriety on like the big scale of like stand-up's such a skill that you can develop and become like you can get good at it like but that doesn't translate to money.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It just does. It's such a hard thing to actually like get going and like make it a career path to where you can functionally go like, okay, I do this to where now my free time isn't spent in a day job, but it's actually getting better at the thing I'm getting paid at, my craft. Like, building a following, Instagram, Instagram
the
Reels, socials. But I'm sure like this is in acting too. It's all perspective sometimes. Like we're all working. Like I have, 1,600, 1,700 followers, and my roommate has 800,000.
Yeah.
And we talk about killing ourselves the same amount. Like you're never happy.
Yeah.
Like you're always like trying to go to the next thing.
Yeah.
And all I can do is the next right step. All I can do is, okay, am I writing? Okay, am I hitting open mics and practicing? Am I reaching out to shows and trying to book myself? Am I promoting myself? Am I making reels? Am I editing? Am I like the whole thing and just like it's nonstop? Like we were talking about the grind, lock in,
Lock
like
in, baby.
it's
Lock in.
like I'm happy with when I get on stage.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna jinx myself. I'm due for a bomb, honestly. Better not be in Plano. But you know, those days are over. I got enough tricks that I can get out of most of those. God, I know I'm jinxing myself now.
I mean,
Oh God.
What is your what's your writing process like? Like when you're if you're building material, does it come organically to you, or do you sit there, like? Hold on, let me adjust the mic again. I'm sorry, listeners. Okay, we should be good. Like, are you the type of guy that jots stuff down every day? Are you the type of guy that just it comes to you? What's your
All
process
of those.
like?
All of those. Big social commentary guy.
Mm-hmm.
I, my favorite thing in comedy is listen to these pop. I'm listening to these crackles, guys. Sorry.
Snap, crackle, pop.
My favorite thing in comedy is, or one of them, is when somebody says something that we've all thought 1,000 times, but they say it in that perfect way where you're like, oh yes, that.
Yes.
That's like one of the things I try to go for. Not necessarily like applaud, like, but funny too, where it's like, it is like that. It is like that. So social commentary is a lot, just like living life and going through the thing and asking questions all the time. But it could come from, you know, every
Go ahead.
silly stand-up comedy, act outs to dude live stories just coming up. I grew up in a very kind of crazy household. But I on the like building material and the writing thing, and you probably have this book, I bet. Stephen King on Writing, it's called.
I don't think I have it.
And it's just a book about his writing process, and he just talks about it. But he says something really interesting in there. He's like, a good writer doesn't sit at the desk and pound words into the page. A good writer recognizes inspiration when he sees it and then writes it down. So you never know when the little nugget, like I swear, sometimes there's just something that needs to be expressed in the ether, in the universe, in like the cosmos, and it pops into your brain.
Yeah.
And it's like write it down, jot it down, and try to memorize it and like so things like that, and you slowly build things. Totally. I've had ideas that I write down, and it'll enter a bit a year later. It'll be like, oh, that line fits on this joke. Yeah. Here, like that, or that was actually a transition to this, or this thing I thought wasn't a joke as a premise. It was like just so many things, but you're just constantly compounding. I have notebooks and note apps
and do you have you ever, like, if you're going through material that you've written down, have you ever combined two separate into one, like that? Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. All those things come along and move, and I'm pretty conversational. This is too inside baseball, but I'm not a like, here's a joke, next joke. Like, speaking of, and you're like, you have a joke about your dad, and then you're like, speaking of dads, and then speaking of, you know, mistress, like, my stuff is conversational where it's like, I'm just talking, and it's flowing into the thing, but a lot of sequiturs can just be hidden in just like very, not speaking of, but just like saying a word and then going into the next word. And it's easy. Like, that was embarrassing. I'm always nervous, and you just now you're in a whole bit about nerves. Yeah. And like, but it's fun to watch this grow, because then when you're sitting down with your notes, you find a bit where you're like, oh, I can just, this kind of leads into this, and this kind of strings into that. And now I go up, I write the bits I want to do, but sometimes I don't know the order that they're in, and I kind of free flow it. And sometimes that works out. Yeah. But sometimes I'm like, dang, I got lost here for a second because I got caught, and then the rhythm was off. So that's what I was doing this morning when I'm watching that, is I'm going, all right, let me have a more coordinated plan of like where I'm going with this. But like for me, I can't just have lines. I don't know that.
Yeah.
I know the punches and I know what's funny about it and I know that and I know like kind of the order of the story, but I can't sit there and memorize it word for word because then I leave.
Yeah.
Now I'm not. I'm just a guy who's like reading off a page. Like
Yeah.
you got to bring you onto stage.
Totally.
That's my whole thing is like finding my voice, being independent. There's like 40 Shane Gillises in Los Angeles right now. Like every comic is kind of doing Shane Gillis.
Yeah.
And my whole thing for the 10 years I've been doing it is like I need to find my voice. How?
Yeah.
So that's like a big part of me. So sometimes I have to not have a plan so I can have my back against the wall and be like, all right, now the me's coming out where I'm just being funny. Because if it's too prepared, man, it's the head game is probably something that people don't know. Preparation mixed with, hey, don't forget stand-up's an act. So you have to be calm, cool, but like confident. And then through all this hard, like, barrier you put up, okay, now be yourself and let it go through. And you're like, oh God, like it's just it's so much to it, man.
I gotta, before I forget, let me write down. Oh,
Great
man.
Slipknot song.
There
Before I
we go.
forget, sorry.
Let me write down that Stephen King book. What's it called?
On Writing.
On Writing. Actually, in the middle of next month, I'm doing a short based on the Stephen King book, Carrie.
The car. Oh, no, Carrie's not the car. That's the one where she goes to prom. They drop blood on her.
Yeah, that she like blows up the school.
Is she like a witch?
Yeah, it's like the supernatural.
Yeah.
So how long have you been out in LA? When did you move out here?
Moved out here in 2018.
2018.
August.
So you were here through COVID.
Pre-pandemic.
Wow.
Then pandemic hit. That was a wild time.
Yeah.
I actually took a one-way flight to Indiana, bought a motorcycle and rode it back. And did like had like a 6-week road trip, spiritual journey type of thing. It was really fun.
So you've been out here since 2018, and you said so it was Indianapolis before LA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Indy for about started 4 years, 2014 to 2018, and then out here. COVID, I like to not count like a year of that because it just couldn't really do comedy. There was some to do outdoors and stuff around here, and I actually co-produce a really fun show called the Titile Show that started as an outdoor show, and it's a monthly show that we do in Mar Vista at the N17 The Lane.
Nice.
But people we were doing a show in a driveway. We'd have 100 people in a driveway.
Wow.
And it's like, dude, we had some big names now that did our show. Like Morgan Jay's popping. He's pretty big. He did our show. Shang Wang just dropped the Netflix special. He did our show.
Wow.
Trevor Wallace did the show.
Wow.
Like it's fun. It's comedy survived the pandemic, but it was very weird and definitely stunted the growth. You had to knock some rust off the skill set.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
I think we all kind of for a second was like, what are we doing? Here's the thing. I think we still know, like, the epiphany that the pandemic brought where we were like, what the fuck is all this? Jobs and tax, all this stuff.
Why
and now they're like,
this?
okay, you have to go back to doing that, and we're like, what the
Right.
Why? Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
What just happened?
Yeah, exactly.
It's been a while, man. I don't want to get to the
snap, crackle, pop
of the world.
I know.
But I'll say some ignorant, dumb stuff if anybody wants to listen. I don't mind. I'm uninformed, but I'll let it rip.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of.
Hey, how about this? Grocery prices or taxes? How about that?
Yeah.
They get your money out of you somehow.
Especially people who can do their jobs remote and now are being forced to go back in. It's like, why? Why make those people go back in? If you can do your job from your computer, why don't you let those people have 4 more hours of their day that they wouldn't have, that gets shaved off by commuting, by and everyone. I think you're right. Like with COVID, it exposed so many just people think that their way of life is like normal because that's what everybody else is doing. But if you look at it, you're like, wait, what? This isn't normal. What everyone's doing is so weird. Like this is an insane way to live. And COVID exposed a lot of that.
Oh yeah,
And now going back, it's like, what? We don't we don't have to be doing all this.
everything you do is in life is just something somebody else made up one time.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
that's really how
everyone
it is.
just
Your
goes
whole
along
thing.
with it.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Oh, this is the way
And you
things
think
are."
it's a reality,
Yeah.
man. Oh, and a big one for me, that 5 year difference is actually pretty big. I think from 90 to 95 and graduating, like you probably in high school had like all MacBooks and stuff like that. Like the smartphone was like fully in.
Yeah.
And like I think there's like a slight, you know, I don't know if you even like you probably played outside just slightly less, like dumb stuff like that.
I'm a bit of an outlier because when I was growing up, my mother never allowed any video games of any kind.
Oh, really?
Because she was
That's actually
God
really
bless
good.
her. No, I mean, well, she had this theory basically that video games would like turn you into like a school shooter. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, she was like really against it, any of it.
Is
So
this like deeply religious?
no,
No?
not even from that. It was more of just I think a commentary of I don't know
The
what was
propaganda, man. No.
happening, you know, in this country,
Mhm.
and so no video games, not at all. Never owned a video game system in my life. Always outside, always, and
Beneficial.
yeah, and I love that happened. The first video game system I ever, well, actually, that's a lie. I did briefly buy an Xbox when I was like probably 23 or 24. I got an Xbox, but at that point I was so deep in the, so I had never used anything. I had no idea how to use it. Didn't have fun with it. Gave it to my buddy.
Wow.
Fast forward just to last year, I got the Meta virtual reality goggles, the Meta Quest, which I actually like. I only use it basically for one thing, which is golf.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I golf in there, and it's an awesome way to hang out with my buddies who are still on the East Coast. Like we'll literally golf together.
Video games
Like,
keep bros together.
Yeah,
Oh,
you can
yeah.
like walk
All my
18
old
holes.
friends.
You can like shake hands with this
oh,
person.
really?
Yeah. So I play with my buddy in Philly. His name is Noah all the time, and it's insane. It's like, well, we do like mini golf too, but
It's getting good.
you
too.
can you can
It's
get
getting good.
Top Golf is a game where you can walk 18. It's beautiful. You're actually swinging, and it's like, you know, it's a way to stay in contact with your friends. But I can't do much more than that because I've tried like the first person shooter games in there, and it makes me motion sick.
You get it. I can only play those for like 45 minutes. And I
Yeah,
have to take a break
I can't. Golf is more my speed.
on the Oculus stuff.
But yeah, so no, I was outside constantly. I no video games. But I do think that really pushed my I guess vision or drive to want to be an actor because the like leisure time wasn't video games. It was only movies or TV shows. Oh yeah, that's it. And that's what I would do to like de-stress or whatever. So I do think that played a big part in me wanting to be an actor.
The reason I brought the just like that slight difference up is because it was so just high school, 12th grade, college, graduate college, get a job, and then it's like married, kids, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
And that was the rules. It's like, hey, yeah, you get out. Oh, by the way, cars are unaffordable, but we do loans. You get a loan for a car. It's at a higher rate, but you have to build your credit up. And it's like, well, why is there credit? It's, well, secretly, you don't actually have a fair wage, but that's not what they tell you. And it's like there's so much stuff, and we're just like, oh, you get a credit card because of credit cards, and then you start to like slowly see it's like I have to go in debt to get everything that I need.
Yeah.
Everything that I need, I have to be in debt because no wages actually covers a thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's just the way it is, and it's just been compounding for years, and we're all going like, oh wait, so money isn't actually real,
Right.
and like that's like kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And like I don't want to too deep dive into that, but all I'm saying is like it does seem like everything is just it was just like this made up thing that we thought was hard, rigid facts of reality.
And it's all made up.
And it's just like perception, somebody else's perception. I talk about this sometimes where it's like, even right now, there's 3 different realities going on. There's what you think is happening, what you're perceiving, what I think is happening, and then the truth of what is like what's happening.
Going on.
Like, and that's all simultaneously existing. Physical. I did mushrooms before this. I'm just kidding. I'm sober. But to tie that all back to this is like, you only know what you know. Your view of the world is what the household, whatever your household thought, you thought that was all of the world.
Right.
I thought Hollywood was the movies, right? And what it was in the movie, it was a made up story. But then you get out here and all those movies, you go, oh shit, that was kind of real.
Yeah.
That shit really happens. Then I think about the mobster shit. I'm like, that wasn't made up. Like that shit kind of happened, so it became a movie.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I never thought I could be a comedian. I never thought that. And that's something I'm struggling with even now is I'm doing the work and I'm not getting, it's been harder in those hard, strict validations, like when I won that comedy competition of, hey, you're on the right path, are fewer and far between sometimes because this is the most diluted, like there's the most people going for that same thing and it's harder to find success in it. And the truly making it a reality of my perception that I can do this changes fundamentally like the reality that I live in.
Oh, totally.
Changes the mood I wake up in.
Totally.
To where I'm like pushing this rock up a hill where now I'm more in a flow of it's gonna happen.
Yeah. I know exactly what
if
you
I'm
mean,
doing
dude.
everything right, man, I've shout out to my very good friend who takes me on the road with him, Benedict Polizzi. I mean, I've learned so much from this dude. But we try to change the way we talk, where it's like we say it's gonna happen if we're doing everything right. I'm getting my diet locked in. I'm over a year sober.
Good for you, dude. Congrats.
I work toward the goal every day for like it's the job.
Yeah.
And I can't say I've had the validation yet, but like the change of perspective has definitely made it like more manageable.
Good for you, dude. I know exactly what you mean, man. I mean, and you got to. Timothy Chalamet said.
Never heard of him.
Said in this interview last year or so, something like that. I don't know. He's probably. I don't even remember what it was for. Maybe a press tour for Dune or something. And he just dropped. I don't even know actually if this is if this is originally from him or if he just said it, but he was like, life comes from you and not at you. Like it comes you. I so believe that you, like what you were just saying, when you like become the thing, and that like I believe that you can shape your reality 100%. More so than the reality can shape you, which is what most people are in the trap of, reality shaping them, until you're like, wait a minute, actually most people can do anything, actually. Like I really believe that. Like you can, but it comes from you.
Yeah.
You have to make it that reality.
And even if you aren't actively doing that, like consciously, you are still doing that.
Yeah.
Subconsciously.
Yeah.
So all your negative stuff is still doing it. It's still just bringing you all this negative shit that you got going on.
Yeah.
So make the choice to make it more positive, and you'll see it.
Yeah.
I say this to people sometimes on the God thing, believe in whatever you want. I'm not a religious guy. I believe in God in the essence that the very fabric of all of this is God.
Yeah.
If you're struggling with God, make him up. Make up, maybe not even him. Make up God, put it out there, and then look for God, and you'll start seeing it everywhere. What is God? A kid laughing. You ever heard somebody laugh? Like you be in a bad mood, and you'll hear people laughing, and you'll think like, "What do they got to laugh about?" You know what I mean? Because you're like, life is so terrible, right? It's your perspective. But instead of that, go like every time you see them laugh, go like, oh, that's like, there's the joy in the world. There's the God in the world.
Mm.
Just mark that. Then you'll walk around, you'll go, oh, that's God, that's God, that's God. You'll just start seeing a little bit more of like, I mean, I think the universe is ultimately trying to help.
Yeah. I think
Too deep. Shut up.
No, man. I mean, I think it's a provable fact that what you put out is what you receive. It's like I think also the universe is listening, and everyone's brain is basically an antenna that picks up on whatever wavelength. I really believe that it's like the brain is like an antenna that's receiving wavelengths from the universe, and yeah, that's very interesting, and I agree. So how since you've been out here, how have you found the comedy scene, in terms of like how is it different from Indianapolis or other places that you've been?
Uh, Competition is much higher.
Yeah.
I mean, the best comics in the world are out here. Very, very good comedians, brilliant comedians are out here. That you don't know. You don't even know them yet, and I'm like, these guys are like really good
Killers.
comedians. Yeah. Stage time is less frequent, so the rust can come back. Bigger pond from Indianapolis, which isn't even, I don't think, 1 million people. It might be, I don't know. To
the second largest city in the country.
Absolutely. 300,000 transplants a year is, I think, the stat I heard when I first moved here.
Wow.
And they're all trying to be actors or comedians or models or influencers.
Yeah.
Nobody out here just trying to be a garbage man.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll just say it's way different. But if you're doing anything and the competition rises, either you're gonna rise with it or you're not. And I've got to become better as a comic out here due to the hardness of the scene, due to the resilience I've had to show. A lot of it due to like growing in life, aging. You don't know what, dude. When I was like 25, 20, what is he talking about? He didn't know anything. He has no like grasp on anything.
Yeah.
So you gotta like live a little to like really get a good perspective, because you might have a good idea about something and you think it's like so nuanced, and then as you live life, you're like, oh, this has kind of always been happening.
Yeah.
Like just different things, but definitely I would say beneficial, harder. That's really all I don't have a lot on.
Yeah, no, I mean
the difference of LA and Indiana. It's greatly different. You have the Comedy Store, the Hollywood Improv, and the Laugh Factory here.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about the Comedy Store. Joe Rogan blew the Comedy Store up when he started talking about it on his podcast. And a big part of me moving to LA was I want to eventually work at the Comedy Store. I want to have my name on that store.
Yeah, dude. Heck yeah.
So that's one of the biggest goals, and it's not easy.
Right.
At all.
No, it's not. But it's
networking.
Networking.
Way bigger.
Yeah.
Takes a lot longer for your skill set to show you. You need to be good at talking to people, networking, a little bit of, what do they call it? Grease and palms.
Yeah, the general schmoozing,
which I'm not typically good at. I've never struggled to make friends in my life. I've never had to do it on purpose. Now I have to do it on purpose, and it's a little weird.
Different bag.
It's a little weird.
No, totally. It's a little weird. You have to become the schmooze.
I guess. Well, that's kind of a good way to put it.
It's same in the acting circle. It's like you go to these events and you're like, all right.
Hey, how are you? Oh man, that's wonderful.
Everybody's doing great. I agree with what you said though. Like, it benefits everybody, I think, to get into a place where you have to rise to your competition, like the iron sharpens iron type mentality.
100%.
Where it's like you can be killing it in your respected craft, maybe in your hometown and stuff, but you're not going to get better unless you surround yourself and train with. And oh, there go the mics again. Yes. Yes.
Fire off an applause. Just test it out.
Hello. How does that sound? But you really don't get better unless you're around people who are better than you or as good as you, because that's whether it's athletics, whether it's in the arts, whether it's anything. You got to be around people that make you better. I think 100%. Um, and yeah, LA is I like LA a lot. I mean, it's there's a lot going on. I would imagine for the comedy scene, it would be hard to. I guess New York. Have you checked out New York at all?
Have not.
Have you ever been?
I want to go. No, I've never been to New York.
Yeah. It's I mean, in the acting world, it's branched out a lot now, because it's really not just LA at all anymore. And after this last strike, a lot of stuff left. A lot of stuff packed up and went to Europe. A lot of stuff.
Europe,
yes,
really?
yeah. Basically,
Is Austin growing a film industry?
Yeah, Austin is. Texas is a little bit. There's, I believe it or not, Charlotte, North Carolina, booming.
Because Atlanta
booming.
Yeah.
New Orleans has a lot of stuff shot in New Orleans
for the first time a couple months ago for the Super Bowl. Did some content with my buddy, and I love
fun
New
city.
Orleans.
I lived in New Orleans for a couple months.
It's awesome. I didn't know.
So fun, dude.
Oh,
New Orleans is so fun.
It was an amazing time.
Absolute blast. I stayed literally a 3-minute walk from Bourbon Street.
Oh,
so
nice.
It was just a constant. And,
World War II museum.
Yeah, and I never went to it, and that's what everybody says.
Across the street from it, so.
Yeah, no, everybody says the World War II museum is, and I never went. But yeah, it's New Orleans, it's Atlanta, it's Charlotte, it's New York, it's LA, it's Vancouver, and now it's a lot of things have left to Europe. But I think I'm gonna call it here, because my mic is just freaking out, and I think this is like when they sent out to space the like recording, what was it, of like Elvis maybe?
Oh really?
Yeah. If this recording was sent out, they'd be like, why does this guy have such terrible equipment?
How did they even launch the signal out in space?
But before we go, for the listeners, do you wanna let people know your handles on socials, or where people can find you, or what you got coming up?
Absolutely. Waiting for the pops.
Waiting for the snap.
We want that crystal clear.
Yeah.
If I can gain 2 followers, Zach's mom, if you're listening, give me a follow.
Go follow Logan, mom.
Please, and hey, mom, follow Zach.
Please.
It's just our moms listening to this. That's all it is. Oh my God, my mom's so disappointed right now. She turned it off. She hasn't made it to the end. She's like, oh God, give up. Come back home. Yeah, my name's Logan Baert. Same thing on Instagram. Logan Baert is Baert. I've been told it's a strong name. Older gay men tell me I should get into acting all the time in this town.
You're handsome enough, dude.
But yeah, Instagram, TikTok. Just do Instagram. I think I need to build a following to do anything. And I'll be in Plano, Texas, April. I want to say what's Wednesday? 2nd or 3rd? It's a 2nd, I believe. At the Mic Drop, Las Vegas, May 24th.
Nice, dude.
At, what's it called? It's not Good Nights. That's in Charlotte, Carolina. Oh, Wise Guys Comedy Club. Yeah. So I'm just working, guys. I need help. Everybody needs help.
So worker B.
Yeah, for sure.
So go check out my boy, the very powerful and funny Logan Baert. Thanks for coming on the pod, brother.
Thank you for having me, dude. Appreciate it.
That was fun.
Yeah, absolutely.